Good afternoon, Terrell here. In this video, I'm gonna be taking I'm gonna say like a 96 Impreza four-door sedan. And it has the EJ205 swap in it. And it has low compression, we diagnosed. Cylinder one is about 60 or 70. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the car in. We're gonna pull the motor out, pull everything apart, and see. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a bad piston. I'm sorry, I think the compression was closer to about 90. But we'll go ahead and pull the motor. This is the car. Nice, very clean. They call them like a GC8. All right, it's 5-speed manual, beautiful interior, nice gauges, got boost, AFR, and oil pressure. Nice and smooth idle. Let's see how she looks underneath the hood. Look at basically stock WRX, pair and coupler, and stock downpipe. Everything is stock. Oh, we do have a turbo inlet. Otherwise, she's completely stock. But since we're pulling this engine, I'm going to start with all the top stuff. Intercooler, the AC belt cover, downpipe, intake, and then the harness that comes off both sides. And then we have radiator. Yeah, the radiator stays, and then the radiator comes out. Downpipe, intercooler. We have starter, and then I think this transmission should have a starter bolt that kind of, it's a plug for the clutch fork, and then a little pin that holds it in. Alrighty, intake's off, intercooler's off, battery's out, getting the radiator out, power steering line's off. I've got these two lines and this AC line to come off, or I'm sorry, electrical connector, and then the belts in the front, and of course downpipe, belt housing bolts, starter, and the pin that's in there. And then I'm trying to decide, I think I'm gonna take the AC compressor off in car. I don't wanna remove all the AC because I think it works well. But it's going smooth. I got the car in the air and record me, ready? See me? See how you're recording me? You gotta hold it up a little high, right there, perfect. Don't move, don't move, don't move. You gotta move your fingers, but right. Are we getting it? Oh, your fingers are in the way. Just like that. All right, buddy. Pull this radiator out. Goodness sake, why is this thing so heavy? This is really heavy. Heavy. What is going on? Is this thing stuck? I didn't realize the radiator had one zip tie holding the coolant reservoir on, but she's out. So EJ205, front end looks good. No mods up here, which is nice. We get these belts off. Probably just gonna take all this off. That way it's all off in car. A little easier to pull out, I think. All right, power steering pump's over there. Alternators on the table. AC compressor's loose. I just have it here for now. I put the bracket back on to pull the engine out. Fuel lines are off. Got this line off. Last night we had a big storm come in, so I couldn't finish this up. Worried about other things, but she's almost there. I apologize. I actually didn't realize that this was a push style clutch. I don't know why I didn't realize the cylinder was right here and not back there, but it's a push style. I don't have to pull the pin out. So I got all the bolts off the bell housing. I just got the wiring harness off both sides. This O2 sensor, my thing is I like to actually unplug it. And then that way, I'll take it off the coil pack down here too. That way that when I bring the engine up, it doesn't catch in the subframe and potentially break the wires. I've got the two connectors off over here. Fuel lines all off. Two motor mounts left, and then that coil pack little thing I gotta break loose. And then I'll go ahead and pull this motor out. And we're gonna see, I can already see there's oil leaking all over the place. So we're gonna find out where it's coming from, pull this thing apart, see if the block survived, then at least replace one piston, but probably all four of them. A little bit of struggle watching my kid at the same time, but I got the motor separated from the transmission. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this thing out real quick, get it on the ground, start taking things off, but just getting there. All right, motor's out. Lots of oil down here. Good looking EJ205 otherwise. Got a lot of oil down here. I'm thinking oil pan, probably oil pump leaking, oil cooler, all the normal stuff. Engine bay looks all right. Definitely, I believe it's an NA Impreza transmission still, which is impressive. Hopefully it holds the power. All right, I got a tripod coming tomorrow, so I'm gonna record a lot of this removal of all this stuff with that. That way that you can see more of it. I can record as much as I want to. But I just got the clutch off real quick and She looks great, actually. A lot of life left. Really no issues here. The bolts there, got the flywheel here. Not too bad. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, see if this remains leaking. Cute little turbo. I just noticed this now. You can see the pot bearing was kind of out. I don't know if that's from pulling the engine, like separating, or if it was just out originally, but we need to get a new one and get that in correctly, and hopefully that wasn't an issue of any sort. Rear main seal was maybe leaking a little bit, but nothing crazy. This stuff must be from the oil pan is what I'm assuming. We got this back must have been pouring out. Head gaskets, I think they look okay, at least from the back. I got a little ahead of myself without the tripod. I got the intake manifold off and the turbo, but that's it so far. That gasket looks terrible on the tops of these, so I have to replace that and clean these really well. But gotta get coolant crossover off, entire exhaust off, like the headers, valve covers off both sides, the timing cover, the crank pulley. I'll just have to show you all of it, and we'll probably time lapse most of this. Before I start taking everything apart, I just wanted to add real quick. This was supposed to just be a engine rebuild, a new piston, because it had low compression, but it's actually changing quite drastically. So he dropped the car off, and we have an HKS intake for this car. We have all new oil cooler, pump, thermostat, TGV gaskets, and you're like, EJ25 dipstick, why? By the way, we got head studs, we've got a whole new gasket kit, magnetic drain plug, wastegate bracket, external or electronic boost controller, a new STI top mount right there. And look at that, we got an external, we got VF48 turbo, got a Killer Bee oil pickup and an oil pan and pump and injectors and it's everything. It's full bolt on, it's full everything. We've got a full build going on. The only thing we don't know yet about is pistons. We don't know if we're gonna do forged pistons or if the block even survived or what happened, because we know we have low compression. So anyways, let's get to pulling this thing apart. I am very glad we're doing this, because look at the age of this belt. She was not happy. There's no marks on her. She's wearing pretty bad on one of these pulleys. Something here was wearing. Not so happy here. So glad we're getting this done. Got all these off nicely. I'm gonna pull these off the rest of the way. Get the exhaust dropped off. Drain the oil actually out of this, and then pull both valve covers off. Got the crank pulley off, and front main seal was definitely leaking. You got some oil coming down here. Oil pump might have been too, but definitely at least the front main right in that area. Head is finally ready to come off. There we go. Definitely an EJ205, not an EJ20X or whatever. You can see those pistons. A little tip, if you're pulling this head off, make sure you pull that bolt off before you pull it off, otherwise this head won't come off. And then some of them have air pumps, you gotta take that off in the back, but got 6 bolts left and this head's off. All right, head's off. One more bolt in the front right here you have to take off. You can see about right there. But that head's off now. Valves look good and clean. All right, I use a slide impact hammer like I always do, a hammer screwdriver, whatever they're called. Got the 2 bolts off of here, got the bolts off of here. So now the front has the water pump and oil pump, and then I have the coolant crossover on top, and then oil pan, and I can start taking this block the rest of the way apart. I've done this a few times before, so I didn't record all the removal of all the stuff on top, but I'll record how I pop this piston out and then pulling it out and obviously looking in and seeing how bad it looks. But coolant crossover is off, water pumps off, oil pumps off, and then of course this AC bracket's off. So she's basically a short block now. Just need to go ahead and pull the piston out of that one. I'm gonna start by taking off that pin here and this pin plug here. They're both Allen 14s. I'll need pliers, needle nose is preferred, to pull the piston pin out. I'll show you how to do that. And then we will pop the piston pin itself out, and then pop the piston at the top. I'll show you how I do all of it. Take yourself a nice little 14mm Allen. Usually like to use about a 1/2 inch ratchet. Stick it right on there, and just, and there you go. That's one. Here's number two. Just like that. Rotate it downwards. Let's see if these walls have any scratches on them. I would say no, but looks okay. Let's get this piston out. So once that is out, you gotta pull the little pin out. That's right there. This one is actually gonna require a ring clip squeezer. You got the ring out. That's right there. I use some good old snap ring pliers. And now I'm gonna go from the other side of the engine, put a long flathead in and pop that out. Just stick a screwdriver to the back side like this and go in till you hit the pin. And you use a hammer and it's pop, 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 and it pops out. There's the pin. Basically, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna turn the crank so that piston goes over the top. Then I'm gonna turn the crank back so the rod goes back a ways. Then you're gonna turn the piston by hand. You're gonna kind of grab the edges of it and spin it in so it's sideways. You can see that's a little bit sideways. This might work at this angle, I'm not 100% sure. And then you're gonna turn the crank. It's gonna push the rod up. And since the piston's sideways, it's gonna hit the side of the piston now. It's gonna pop this piston out for me. As long as the rod doesn't get caught up, which it's currently doing. But usually, of course it wants to be stubborn here. Kind of gotta wiggle it, and then the piston gets up like this. And then, it's not very easy. I might have to do this off camera. All right, got it a little bit farther out. There we go. Holy cow, look at that. These are forged pistons. I had no idea. I think these are a drop-in forged piston. I don't see any branding on them, but these do not look like the stock pistons. I have some I can show you. This one's the low compression one. Not really seeing any damage. These rings were kind of close together, but this is a non-forged piston. I guess maybe these aren't. They just look a lot cleaner, I guess. These are just the comparison side by side. No, never mind. It's just a lot cleaner, a lot better oiling in there. Looking in here, it does look like I've wiped this down pretty well, and we've got a layer of oiling. I'm assuming that's right here. It looks to me like it was not holding oil on the bottom. It must have been past. All right, here comes piston number 2 out. No damage, looks good. Here's piston number 3. And I also popped out piston number 4 about the same time. Not quite all the way out, but I can get out. And there's number 4. A little bit lean as well. Sides look okay, but I think I'm gonna do all 4 new pistons to be safe with it. Surprised this one was actually holding compression. You can see how hot it was getting. See the lines up on this thing, the top. But this one, all right, just flip the block onto its back after all 4 pistons are removed. Took all the bolts out of the oil pan, and she's about to come off. I'll show you what she looks like on the inside. Make sure I don't have any major issues. Took the motor mounts off real quick. All right, initial inspection with the oil pan coming off here. Not too bad. I don't see much metal in here. My thoughts are this thing's been rebuilt maybe once. The silicone doesn't look factory to me. And there's silicone on this oil pickup O-ring. There's never supposed to be silicone there. So I think someone definitely has built this one time before. So this is... All right, all the bolts are removed. I'm gonna go ahead and separate the block caps now. Should just really kind of pop these dowels and the block will come apart. All real time, no cuts with this. Let's see if we can get this thing apart real quick. Come on, baby. There we go. Look at that. And beautiful. And let's see if we can get this crank out real quick. Nice. Sorry about that. I got some oil on my phone, unfortunately. All feel wonderful. No play. Nice. Great looking setup. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. Make sure all the bearings look okay. They're not all actually bad. All the mains look great. All right, got number. My phone died, unfortunately, but all 4 rods look wonderful. The bearings look definitely worn in, but no looseness, no nothing. I'm gonna still bring the crank to the machine shop tomorrow morning. And then I'll bring the heads that are sitting right there over there. Get the heads flow tested and make sure everything looks good. And I think we might be doing valve stem seals. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do them or if I'm gonna have the machine shop put them in for us. See how much they quote us on that. And then this crank, get mic'd, make sure it's good to go. And then this is what I'm gonna call just like the halfway point. It's basically everything's torn apart. We just need some answers. I'm gonna start the next video with picking these parts up from the machine shop. And knowing whether they're good or not and seeing what we ordered. Thank you for watching so far, and hope you like this. I tried to film as much as I could, get my kid to do a few things, and yeah, hopefully this goes well. We get a nice fresh build out of it.